Hello to you guys out there. Well, today's episode is based on Resident Evil 2 Classic. Not the remake. Even though most people would play the remake, but to me, I'm going back to the classic since it's available on PlayStation Plus Premium, which I am playing it off of the PS5 because of the fact that I could do stuff like this. Rewind, which is rewind, have saved states, mess with the framing, and stuff like that. And I totally enjoy that so much. I really do, because of the fact that I could find the rough edges of a lot of the PS1, PS2, and PSP games. I could find the rougher spots. And I do love doing that when it comes to a lot of games. But either or, Resident Evil 2. So before you guys watch, push that subscribe button right down there and ring the bell. Ring the ding ding. You ring it. Not like wedding ringer, but you ring it like you really love it. So, there.
There's no reason for us to stay any longer than necessary. Let's split up, look for any survivors, and get out of here.
Right.
One last thing. Here's a radio. Take it. That way we can keep in touch if anything happens.
Yeah. It was crazy back in 2023 where I actually played through the remake of Resident Evil 2 beginning to end. But I thought it's the original Resident Evil 2, but it's the Duelshock edition. I noticed that this game takes place in America, but the thing in games like this is that they're not allowed to, I don't know, it's all depending on the country, the state and country and all that. Wow. But I noticed that the people from Capcom has a huge appreciation for the Americas to the point where they make a game based on America. That is the reality, man. But I really love Capcom. I love the work they put out in the world of video games. Where do I put that medallion? Yeah. This is a slower paced survival horror game. And I do say slower pace. I'm gonna save state right there. You know which vibes it gives me? It gives me the vibes from Beverly Hills Cop or something like that. Well, except it's less Jackie Chan and more... You can't drop items? That's kind of lame. It is lame. You can't drop items. I have to put typewriters in. Well, I have to put... It's kind of... I wish I could save any time in the old school Resident Evil games, but you can't. That's the issue with old school Resident Evil. You can't save. You can't go crazy on the saves. Yeah. When you use... When you use the ink ribbon, you can't. When you save, you can't. One of your saves go away. Your ink ribbons. Yeah, it's a creative way of creating a save. But the problem, if you're a child during that time period, or if you are very busy with work, how can anyone survive playing this game? How could anyone just basically play through this game? Not just play, but breeze through this game. Yeah, I would say my best advice in this game is to take your time. Don't rush into things. I feel like the joystick functionality in this game is not that good. Not that good, to be honest. That's the problem with this re-release. Unless you're playing it on Nintendo 64, because the Nintendo 64 version fixes the issues that the PS1 does have. I'm just resetting. This adds a lot of horror elements. And it's kind of a bummer that Leon S. Kennedy has like one or two survival horror appearances. Since then, he became the embodiment of action horror. I think the Duelshock was a gimmick in this game. It doesn't feel like it's a necessary. It doesn't feel like the Duelshock was a necessary feature on both the original Resident Evil 2 and the remake. Yeah, I noticed that Resident Evil 1 looks like a game that needs to be remade from the ground up. It really does. With the jank that the game has. And there's only certain doors that you can open with certain keys. Copying machine. Oh my gosh, more ink ribbons. Yay, for saving your progress. Items that will help you save your progress. Yeah. I know that it was supposed to add something to the survival horror genre, but in 2026, it doesn't add much in 2026. Some people say it did add something. If you're playing Resident Evil 2 original, use the D-pad. Don't even think about the joystick. Or if you were watching this from the 90s, which none of you guys would because you guys could hardly know what the internet is. Or was. Or is, or whatever. Oh my gosh. I really hate the tank controls. But all I would say is that if you're gonna play Resident Evil 2, play it on Nintendo 64, not the PS1 in this day of age. And I do hope that Nintendo would have released Resident Evil 2 on Nintendo 64 Online. I do wish, because of the fact that I want to play with buttery, smooth controls. Not controls that suck. I think that the controls in the original do suck. But either or, guys, if you love Resident Evil 2 as much as the next guy, just let me know. That is right. This is one of the best looking games on the PS1. No doubt about it. It is, no doubt, one of the best looking PS1 games. But yes, for newcomers, this would be frustrating for newcomers. Very frustrating for newcomers. I would say it because of the fact that the game has some jank in its controls, like I did say. And yes, I'm giving it kind of like a bad review in 2026, but it's only 2026. But I'm not looking at it in a 1998 perspective. I'm like looking at it in a 2026 perspective. Yeah, that is right. I know, Capcom did this on purpose just to give the players the feel of horror. That is right, the feeling of horror in the survival horror game. But either or, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you later.